It's a very crowded room. I've asked Anna Marie, who's a brand ambassador as well, to actually take over today. That way you'll be able to hear somebody with a huge amount of background noise. Missed all of you. Thank you for joining. Pablo, I am so sorry not to be with you for the whole show, but I hope you enjoy. It's always great seeing you. It's great seeing all of you. Thank you so much.
I am with John, so see you all soon. Very, very much missing you. And todo mucho éxito, Pablo.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Angela, for giving us a small window into the event in France. We appreciate that. We get to spend our time today with Pablo Rubén, and he is a plein air artist in Spain. And he has won so many awards, and as I'm researching him, I see it's over 500. But I see more than this is that he's fallen in love with watercolor. And I'm looking forward to spending time and learning all about this love and passion that you have for watercolor. Pablo, welcome, and we look forward to our time with you today. Thanks for being here.
Hello, everybody from all over the world. Thank you very much to Daniel Smith, to John for inviting me to this meeting. I'm so happy to share my work with so many people. We had a previous meeting, but finally I have to cancel. So I am so happy to finally to be there, to be here. Well, I am most of the time I am a plein air artist. From April to November, I join in many plein air competitions here in Spain and also in France. So it's my main activity. Also, the rest of the year, I teach online classes. I have also students here in my academy. But the thing I love the most is plein air. In every year, I used to join in about 50 competitions. For example, this weekend, I'm going to travel to the south of Spain, to Andalusia, to join in the 4th plein air competition of this year. So the main subject I used to do are water subjects, rivers, ponds, lakes, fountains, puddles. I always try to find this kind of subject because I prefer to paint water. Whenever I don't find water, I try to find cars, industrial escapes, tractors, cranes, planes, wherever I found when I don't have water. Because here in Spain it's not so easy to find water subject because of the dry. Not always the rivers have water. Not always the lakes are full of water. Anyway, I always try to find this subject. Well, today I'm going to show you a small demo. I used to work in big size, about 1.20 meters by 80 centimeters. I will show you later the support for this weekend. But now I'm going to show you a small one. It's 31 by 41. So it's a water subject, of course. Well, so I'm going to change this. Yes, perfect. I want to focus. Perfect. Well, the drawing is very simple. This time to do an easy demonstration. So if anyone can anyone want to do the same and wants to repeat, it will be very easy. Well, I'm working on artist paper, 300 grams, 31 by 41. If you have any question, I can read the chat at the same time I'm talking and I am painting. I can divide my brain in 3 parts. I'm used to do that. Well, this is going to be the horizon line. It's more or less in 1/3 of the height of the paper to have a balanced composition. This picture has been edited with Photoshop to put every element in the right place. So the main tree is not just in the middle. I'm going to move here next to the right area to have this big mass of trees also in a golden area. I always try to do a balanced composition. Well, we have here smaller, is taller, this tree, but is not so big. So we have different sizes in this natural landscape. This landscape is from Extremadura. This a region in the west of Spain. Is the Alagon River is in Coria, in Cáceres. Well, the drawing is very easy. Here there is also a line of sticks. I'm going to put these sticks to avoid having a line crossing the composition from one side to another. So I will add these sticks also to create some different directions, not only horizontal and vertical directions. I will do it. It depends. I work on fine grain paper when I paint in a small size. When I paint in big size, I use rough paper, depending on the size. Always 300 grams, and most of the time artist paper. You're welcome. Well, here we will have the reflections of the big mass of trees. Both trees are close to each other, are together. So the big mass is going to be the big reflection is going to be also here in this area. There is also there is also a small reflection on the right side from this other tree. And this we have distant trees also they are good to create depth. Well, the drawing is very easy. I will do the rest with the painting with the brushes. Well, I have in my palette. I have the 10 colors I have in my set. So I am going to use this. I have more colors, but I am going to use today only colors that are among these 10 colors. Okay, it's very easy to find in the Daniel Smith website and everywhere the names of each color. Anyway, I will explain every time I take a different color. Well, I'm going to start with mother color. I'm going to use a little bit of purple red to create a soft pink. I'm going to wet with this purple red. It's very soft. I don't want a sunset. I don't want a red sky. It's just a little bit to create this warm color. This is a summer view. So I'm going to wet all the sky, and while the sky is wet, I'm going to use some lavender and some cerulean blue chromium. I'm going to add more cerulean blue chromium. So cerulean blue chromium with a little bit of lavender. The lavender is important to have a thicker mix and to make the color lighter. Anyway, cerulean blue chromium is not too dark color. Well, with these two colors, I'm going to paint some part of the sky. I'm going to blend everything with the previous pink I created with the pyrrole red. In this step, everything is very soft, very light. When it dries, everything will be lighter. I have here a dry brush. Is the same brush. Is a Skoda Ultimo brush, flat brush. So I'm going to blend both colors.
Is your paper on a tilt? Or is it flat?
Yes, it's 20 degrees tilt. It's not flat. You can see this support is from IKEA. Is very cheap and very easy to find everywhere. I prefer to work always with some angle. Yes, it's IKEA support. Well, I'm going to continue. The sky is done, it's finished. I'm not going to retouch anything else. So I'm going to go down. Again, with the mother color is going to be the pyrrole red. But just a hint, just very few amount of pyrrole red. I'm going to put also the reflections of the sky again with lavender and cerulean blue chromium. Again, very soft. The color of the water is different. At the background is lighter, and as soon as I'm going to reach to the foreground, this color is going to be darker and also is going to be warmer. So I'm waiting here now. I am in at my studio. My studio is in Grignon. It's a small village in the south of Madrid, the capital of Spain. And here the weather is hot. Outside is about 28 degrees. So my paper is going to dry very quick. That's the reason I am wetting my paper so many times to keep the humidity as much time as possible. Well, I keep going down. Now I'm going to change. I'm going to add warm colors. Now I'm using transparent red oxide. Mix it with the previous blues, and also here there are some pinks. So transparent red oxide completely blended with the previous blue color. I'm going to add more pigment. I'm going to add also some cerulean blue chromium to make the color darker. To create this background. This is going to be, I'm going to add also a little bit of pyrrole red. This background is going to be the floor of the river. Okay, everything very wet. Again, I'm going to use this brush is dry. I'm going to use it to blend it a little bit. And while the paper is still damp, this is a new perla. This is a transparent red oxide. I'm going to make a different mix, very thick this time. I'm using the lavender. I love lavender because it's very thick and it has titanium white in its composition, so it's perfect to have thick mixes and light colors. So I'm going to put some small waves.
Hey, Pablo, the good folks on Facebook want to know what brush you're using.
This is a Perla, Skoda Perla number 12.
Thank you.
It's completely new. I am also a Skoda brand ambassador, and it's a the perfect combination between colors and brushes. Skoda brushes and Daniel Smith colors. Well, soon I am approaching to the foreground. I'm going to use thicker mixes and darker color. I have add a little bit of wisteria, and I'm going to put my paper is still damp, is not dry. I'm going to make this movement we have in the original, in the reference picture. I'm going to change the directions to create this this wave. The flat brush was also Skoda. It's Skoda Ultimo. Skoda Ultimo number 12 and number 15. All my brushes are from Skoda. Well, I am adding more waves to create more movement. Small ones among the big ones. I'm reinforcing. Anyway, I will paint darker colors later because the reflection of the main tree is darker. So I'm going to paint some sunken stones. Also, this is sepia. And for the sunken stones, I'm going to use a darker color with sepia and a little bit of lavender to create a kind of gray, of warm gray. Anyway, I will add the mother. Oh. These are sunken stones, sunken rocks. I'm going to paint also here a big wave. Dry brush all the time because my paper is damp and I don't want to have cauliflowers on my painting.
Pablo,
Yes.
With the underlayer, you started with transparent, very delicate underlayer. And then by adding the lavender to the mother and in all these subsequent waves that you're adding opacity to the image. Are you willing to speak a little bit on that from having both transparency and opacity within one image?
Yes, the lavender is opaque but I need this opacity to control the edges. Using transparent colors, the brush stroke can spread through the painting. So I don't mind about using these opaque colors because my paper is still damp, it's not completely opaque. If I apply lavender directly from the tube to a dry surface, the color will be opaque, but using this kind of color in a damp paper, it remains still transparent. That's the reason. I prefer to control the edges by using this technique.
Thanks for taking the time to explain that.
You're
I
welcome.
often engage with that problem when I'm painting wet on wet. Thanks.
Yes, it's not wet. I'm painting dry on wet. That's the reason I use this color. I'm going to do some splattering to create small rocks, small stones under the water. Well, I'm going to let it dry completely. I'm going to come back to the background. I'm going to start with the farthest trees, and I'm going to make different kind of greens. The greens at the background are not the same greens as we have on the middle ground. So these greens are going to be more gray, more pale, and I will put strong and dark greens here. Well, so I'm going to start with the greens. I'm going to add to my palette Hansa yellow medium. This is my basic yellow, my primary yellow. So I'm going to add this yellow to this leftover of the palette, because in this leftover I have brown, I have blue. So the green is going to be dirty, it's going to be very broken. And I want this kind of green for the background. I'm going to use my my perla brush completely laying down on my paper to create. My paper is dry in this area. See how the blue has fade. It's just a hint of blue. Here I have a hint of pink. It's not so bright as the beginning. The name of my palette is Petite Palette. It's a brass palette made of brass, handmade. I use this palette only for online demonstration. This palette is always here in my studio. I have another palette for live workshops, and also I have a big palette for plein air painting competitions. Well, I think so. I think it's going to be recorded. Yes. Well, I'm going to add more browns. Now I have mixed the color with some transparent red oxide for the background. See, the background is very light, very soft. I'm going to keep advancing. Here we have some brushwood next to the shore of the river. So I'm going to make an orange with Hansa yellow medium. Hello, Lana. Nice to see you. Hansa yellow medium and a little bit of Pirro red to create a kind of orange. Bright orange for this dry shore of the river. this color is going to be behind everything. Then I will add more brushwood, more things. I have connected the background with the shore. There is no line breaking everything. So now I'm going to put more greens. Now I'm going to mix the Hanset yellow medium with cerulean blue to create a brighter green. This is a different green from previous step. This green is for the brushwood, for the bushes. Also, we have here another tree. I'm going to add to the same mix a little bit of ultramarine blue, French ultramarine. Again, a very fast brush stroke to have broken edges, to have this feeling of leaves of the top of the tree. Now I'm using a little bit of sepia to put some branches among the tree. And also some splattering here to have some small leaves around the big mass of the tree. Some small dots. Well, time for the big tree. I'm going to use now more pigment. Now I'm going to start with the lights, with the light greens. Again, Hanset yellow medium with some cerulean blue chromium. More pigment because this tree is closer. Again, I'm broken all the edges. I'm making different kind of shapes on the top of the tree. For the small leaves, I use the point of my perla. At this moment, I have used it only two kind of brushes, perla and ultima. Well, I'm going to make the second green for the middle parts. So I'm going to add to this mix a little bit of indigo to make the green darker. Indigo with Hanset yellow medium. I'm going to leave some highlights. I'm not going to cover everything because I want light areas. The sun is on the left side of the landscape, so all the shadows will be on the right side. So here we have the sun. Same thing for the tallest tree. First, a little bit of light colors. And then I will put some darks. Same mix with more indigo. This is not the darkest green I'm going to use. This part now has dried, so I can put a more defined brush strokes, more vegetation. First trees I did are far away now because they are gray. They are very soft, and now I am creating more depth using darker colors. Well, I'm going to use a rigger brush for some branches. And now I am mixing sepia with ultramarine blue to create a dark brown. This is a rigger brush. It's a Kronos, also from Skoda, to paint these small, tiny lines of the branches. Not too much, just a few ones.
Pablo, do you have any insight in how to make these lines light and organic rather than, I know it's not uncommon for beginning artists to struggle with the lines to be too heavy. Thank
you. I think that there is a trick that is holding this brush just with the point. So you need to move the arm, instead move the hand. So the lines will be more free and more natural. So that's the way I do it. Holding the brush just with this part. I think I do always the same way, and it looks more natural and more fresh. No so tight.
What size rigger is that, Pablo?
This is number 2. This is Kronos number 2.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It has a mix of synthetic and Kolinsky hair. So it's mixed. It's not pure synthetic brush. Well, I'm going to make a darker green. I'm going to use now tallow green, blue shade. This is also one of my essential colors. So tallow green with sepia. When these two colors, I get almost a black. It's very, very dark for the darkest areas of the tree. I'm going to add also a little bit of plein violet to break a little bit the color. So the paper is still is not completely dry. It's still a bit damp, so I can blend some part of the leaves of the tree. Well, I'm going to leave a light between the tree and the background. I'm going to leave this highlight, this orange highlight. I'm making a very, very dark color, almost black. It's not black, it's a very dark green, to create the big shadow. Here in the tree, I have now 3 different greens, light, medium, and dark, to create volume in that tree. Well, I'm going to paint now the shore of the river. The shore is into the shade, so I'm going to add plein violet to the mix, and some cerulean blue to make a kind of dark purple. So this dark color is going to be for the shadow, the shade that is next to the shore of the river. I'm leaving all the time this highlight And now I'm going to, with this dark, I'm going to connect the trunks of the trees with this shadow. Here we have also a small tree. And here I'm going to connect also this tall tree. Has a yellow medium. No, this color is not light. This is made with perilene violet and cerulean blue and the previous mix.
And the question was, what colors did you mix to make the light green?
The light green was made with Hansen yellow medium and cerulean blue chromium to create the lightest green in this area.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to close the composition with some darks. Okay. And I'm going to close also the left side. Oh.
That's cute.
There is some noise. some microphone with someone logging. Well, and I'm going to finish the river with some the shore with some brushwood here, some small dots. I'm going to scratch a little bit to have some highlights inside the big mass. This is a standard hotel car with a sticker, but it's a plastic. It's like a credit card, like an ID card. It's easy. It's not difficult. It's a very. I'm going to put a flat line under the shore. Well, and the background is done. Okay. Now it's time for the water, for the reflections, and for more work here in at the foreground. Well, I'm going to, now that everything is dried, I'm going to apply a second layer to put these small rocks, small marks under the water. So I'm going to apply a second wash. Same colors as the first one with pearl red, very, very soft pearl red to start. Very soft pearl red. In the left side, I'm going to add a little bit of lavender. I'm using again my flat brush. I'm applying this to create a more contrasted and to leave some areas under the water. Same color, lavender with some cerulean blue chromium. So with this wash, I'm going to soften the previous waves. The waves are going to be more blended. And in this area, I'm going to put these marks under the water. I'm going to add now more transparent red oxide. The colors are the same as the previous step. And a little bit of Hansen yellow medium for the foreground. With this wash, everything is now sunken. Everything is paler, and I don't have hard edges anywhere. So now everything is stronger than previous was, and I have blended, I have softened everything in this area. Well, I am going to put some marks because I need that the top is completely dry. So while it's drying, I'm not used to use a hair dryer. So I prefer to let it dry by itself. Neither to dry my hair, I use a hair dryer. Well, I'm going to reinforce some marks, some details in a second. I have blended everything now with this second step. Sepia, a little bit of cellular blue chromium. Similar sponge. See, this sponge is a super absorbent sponge for drying the brush.
As you're laying down the darks in the water in the foreground, are you making strategic decisions about where you place them for the purpose of leading the eye through the image? Do you keep that in mind, or do you, when you're plein air painting, only paint what's in front of you? How do you manipulate the image to make it your own?
Yes, in this case, I used to put bigger rocks at the foreground, and with this second layer, I complete some parts. And for example, I have made more round this wave, so they are not random. I decide where I change or where I put more things. Sometimes I spend more time in thinking the composition, in thinking the subject I am going to do, rather than painting. So I take many pictures. I change the point of view. So for me, the composition is is essential, and I spend many time thinking. Sometimes more time thinking than painting. Well, now is this foreground is finished, so it's time for painting the reflections. The reflection should be transparent to have the feeling that we are painting water. In this case, I use it opaque painting. I don't mind because it's a tree, it's a solid element. But for the water, I want to use only transparent colors. It's completely different. So I'm going to start with the top of the reflection. I'm going to do the reflection of the big tree, do the tallest tree, and the small one. Every reflection is going to be connected. Well, for the reflection, I'm going to use tallow green, blue shade, mix it with transparent red oxide. With these both colors, I get a kind of brown green or green brown. Is in the middle. Is 50-50. I'm making a transparent mix, but with a lot of pigment. It's 50-50, 50% water, 50% pigment, more or less. I'm going to add also a little bit of cadmium yellow, Hansa yellow medium. Well, I have enough mix on my palette to cover all this area. It's still a bit damp, but I can paint without problem. Well, I'm going to start with the top of the river, the farthest part. Have changed my brush. Now I'm using a Reserva brush. It's a natural Kolinsky hair, Skoda. In this area, we have some stream in the river, so there are no reflections. When we have some streams on the surface of the rivers, the reflections disappear completely. So in this area, I'm just going to put some dry brush strokes to create this effect. I'm using the texture of the paper to create this soft and broken whites. Well, I'm going to paint all the time using the drop. I don't let it dry, so I keep all the time advancing without letting dry the paper. Here I'm using the point of my brush to have these small lines. I'm going to leave here a highlight, and I need to follow the reflection. I need to follow the elements that I have on the top. My brush is completely, the colors of the reflection are transparent red oxide, tallow green blue shade, and also a little bit of Hanset yellow medium. With these three colors, not all the time I am using the same mix. Sometimes I add more green, sometimes I add more transparent red oxide to create different range of colors in the same area. I'm using this this brush because this brush is very soft, and I can have a lot of mix. I'm leaving this white space because between these two trees there is the sky. So I'm going to leave this white. I'm not going to cover this area. Sometimes I connect both sides of the reflection. Here I have a beautiful different mixes. Sometimes some areas are more brown, sometimes in other areas are more green. That's the beauty of mixing these colors. It's like this color is very similar to green apatite.
On the chats, you're getting so many compliments on how easy you're making this look, and we appreciate this walkthrough and the explanation through the process. I'm wondering, would you also be willing to speak on how would this be different if you were doing this plein air rather than studio? The dry time would be different, and what would you be doing differently, or the same? Thanks.
No, I have to change. When I paint outside is completely different. The sides is different. Then I will show you that the support is drying behind me for this weekend, and when I paint in plein air, it depends, of course, of the season. Depends. It's not the same painting in November or in January as I'm painting in August in the middle of Spain, in La Mancha. It's the driest region of Spain. So I need to work in small areas to keep humidity. I need to carry a spray in my left hand to keep the colors of my palette fresh and to keep the paper also wet. So it changes. I have to change sometimes the process depending on the temperature and on the wind sometimes. Is completely different. Here I can do it step by step, following the natural process. From the background to the middle ground is easier. And here with one stroke, I can paint a tree. As outside, I have to make more big, larger mixes, and I have to change the brushes. I have a bigger palette also. It changed a lot. I have another kind of stuff for plein air. The trunk of my car is plenty with a big umbrella, with some with more easels, with a heavy bottle of water. So there are many different things. Well, for the small ways, for the more reflections, I'm going to use my perla brush again, because the perla brush has more points than the reserva one. So I'm going to use now the perla. My pleasure. I'm pleased to share. Well, I'm mixing now transparent red oxide with cadmium, Hanset yellow medium to create an orange, dark orange. As I am approaching to the foreground, the color of the reflection is changing because the depth of the water of the river is less, so we can see the floor of the river. Gracias, Lana. Muchas gracias por participar y por estar aquí. Un placer. A ver si nos conocemos en persona. Thank you very much, Lana. Well, now I'm going to break the reflection. The reflection in this area is not so continuous, is more broken. The dry waves are isolated. I'm painting on dry to create these hard edges. And here is very important to know the calligraphy of the water. It's like learning a new language, learning to write a new language. No, I don't clean my palette. I used to have my palette always dirty. Only when I have to paint a bright sky, I liked with light blue. I used to clean my palette, but the rest of the time I keep my palette completely dirty because I like this leftover.
I'm so happy to hear that. I always have a mucky palette.
Yes, always is. There are lovely colors in the corner of the palette. Don't miss these lovely colors. Well, now I'm going to paint the reflection of this tree and this tree. Now all the waves are completely broken. So I am going to paint only isolated lines. Most of the mix is made with transparent red oxide. I think it's a lovely color.
We have about 5 minutes left, just so you know where we're at. And
Okay.
you've also transitioned your shadow work and the ripples in the water from being green with purple to orange with the transparent red oxide. Can you talk through your process and what's going on in your strategy in considering the warm, cool aspect of creating the image?
Yes, usually the warmer colors are at the foreground. So in the real life, in the nature, as much space there is between us and the background, there is more air. So if you have more air, the air gives a kind of blue to the atmosphere. So it's physics. Is not a question of color. And the farthest colors will be always cooler, and the closer should be warmer. Is the normal rule of the nature. So this is what I think when I paint. Anyway, here it is warmer because of the bottom of the river. No, not only because of the depth. Well, I'm going to put some darks. I'm going to reflect with some sepia and cerulean blue. I'm going to reflect some trunks of the trees. I'm going to put some sticks. I'm going to use a very dark color, almost black, indigo and sepia. I don't have black in my palette, but I can get easily mixing indigo that has black in its composition, and sepia that also has black in its composition. So I'm going to put some sticks to create depth and to create a line. The sticks should have also some reflection, like in Venice. Well, and I'm going to add some highlights. I'm going to use buff titanium. So I'm going to put some highlight, for example, on the top of the sticks directly from the tube. I'm not a purist artist. I don't mind of using opaque colors on my paintings. So these highlights, I think, helps a lot. For example, to create here some volume on the sticks. And also we can put some small dots of floating things. Sometimes there is some parts of foam floating on the surface of the water, some leaves, some whatever. And it helps a lot to create the depth. So this is buff titanium directly from the tube. Also, we can put some I know that in many watercolor association, it's forbidden to use opaque colors. It's forbidden to use white. Even here in Spain, we have some very traditional watercolor societies. That's the reason I told every time I'm not a purist artist. But some crossing lines. Well, I think it's enough. I don't know how many time it left. I'm going to remove this ugly blue tape.
Bravo. Bravo.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Very
Signature.
nice, Pablo. Bravo.
That's amazing, Pablo.
Very nice.
Stunning, stunning.
Incredible. You make it look so easy.
No, right?
Love it.
No
Absolutely love it.
surprise,
Thank
Pablo.
you.
Beautiful demo.
Oh, thank you very
Demo.
much.
Very nice.
I enjoyed it
Increíble,
a lot.
Pablo.
Beautiful.
Thanks to you for joining.
Fabulous.
Thank you for sharing.
Hope to see you again.
Thank you,
Pablo,
Pablo.
thank you so much for your
Gracias, Pablo.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Adios.